You can't teach children to behave by making them feel worse. When children feel better, they behave better. This is a quote by Pam Leo, a parenting and connection coach, who understands that knowing how to parent your child drastically impacts their development not only individually, but also socially. Pam also understands that there are so many different ways to parent and discipline your child. And so today I'm going to focus just on one form of discipline called corporal punishment, which I myself have experienced and I'm aware has been used for centuries to motivate people to behave better. I'm going to start tracing through the history of corporal punishment, beginning with its use in our justice systems, in our schools, and eventually in our parenting. So the definition of corporal punishment, according to Britannica.com, is the infliction of physical pain upon a person's body as punishment for a crime or infraction. Corporal punishments include flogging, beating, branding, mutilation, blinding, and the use of the stock and pillory. So a classic well-known example of corporal punishment that is used throughout history is on criminals who would be subjected to public floggings for committing crimes like murder or stealing or rioting and even gossiping in some cases. Amputation was also used as a form of corporal punishment on criminals, specifically thieves, who would have their hand amputated as punishment for stealing, but also a symbol of the crime they committed, while in addition to this, making it physically more difficult for them to ever steal again. Branding was also commonly used, whereby a person would have the first letter of the crime they committed either branded onto their thumb or their cheek, also serving, yes, as punishment, but also as a symbol to everyone around them in society of the crime that they had committed. Corporal punishment has also been used in schools. And this is where we first see corporal punishment used on children specifically. In about the 1800s, misbehaved children would be paddled, smacked on the hand with a ruler, or hit with a cane or belt on their backside by their teacher for interrupting and making trouble in class. During the 1900s, there began to be a little bit of a shift in this use of corporal punishment in school due to rising concerns about the ethicality of such a practice. As a result, corporal punishment began to be outlawed by most states and in all private schools in every state. But that didn't stop corporal punishment from being used in parenting. Corporal punishment was mostly used in parenting during the 19th and 20th century and is still used today. It consists of spanking by the parent with either a hand, a belt, a paddle, or some kind of utensil, like for instance this wooden cooking utensil. Parents also utilized methods like withholding or forcing meals, pulling a child's hair, or washing out their mouth with soap for lying or swearing. According to the National Library of Medicine, parents' key goal in using corporal punishment appeared to be to increase the child's immediate and long-term compliance and to decrease their child's aggressive and antisocial behavior. However, research indicates quite the opposite. In fact, instances of physical abuse and the development of low self-esteem and mental illnesses like depression or anxiety have arisen as a result of parents using corporal punishment on their young children. Corporal punishment in parenting also conflates with relational issues between parent and child once the child grows up. So corporal punishment, as we're learning now, is in fact not the only way to encourage someone to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. We learned today that corporal punishment was used to punish criminals, then misbehaving school children, and it eventually became a parenting tool used to encourage obedience, compliance, and appropriate social behavior. However, just because corporal punishment has been used for centuries, as I stated at the beginning, doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't better, more effective ways to motivate people to behave well and to become the best version of themselves. For instance, such as prioritizing emotional connection over violence and physical pain. And so my question for you today and my challenge is that you must decide for yourself. How will you treat your own children? Will you use aggression and violence to motivate them? Or can you use love and gentle correction to nudge them in the right direction?